Shalom, it's your brother Yawanathan. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. A lot of people base the information they take in or will negate the validity of truth if they do not agree with the source from which it came. If the source from which it came is not respectable or attractive in their eyes. And that's the catch. Because the Lord is going to use men that don't necessarily look the part by the world's standard. Someone could go to cemetery school, and learn all of the traditions of Christianity. But that doesn't mean that they have spiritual sight. It doesn't mean that they were chosen by the Lord. The actual men of the Lord always look like ordinary people. They look like commoners, and the Lord had it that way on purpose. Even when the rich man came to inquire of Yahweh Shai told him what? To sell everything that he had. Now, there's some brothers who may be more well off than others, but the thing is this: a gift destroyeth the heart. When somebody in don't get me wrong, money can be a defense, okay? But when you have an excess of comfortability in this world, it can pull you away from your purpose. You're not able to see the evil for what it is. When you're on the ground level, all right, and you see from day to day the effect that the evil has on the regular everyday people, the majority, it puts you in the right mindset for the sighing and crying that that state of sighing and crying that you're supposed to be in. You're up close with the evil. So now you're seeing it. And now when it's time to go prophesy, when it's time to edify and make your lessons, when it's time to be in that mindset, you've been getting the repetition every day, nonstop. So, you know, when you live in a plush and soft life, it's hard to do that. That's why the scriptures, you know, the Lord said, endure hardness as a good soldier. He's the one that's putting us through the hardness. We're in the school of hard knocks. The school of hard knocks is an idiomatic phrase that people use in the world to say that, you know, someone's getting experience or an education from life's hard experiences. That's why the scriptures in Sirach 2, he says what? If I come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. There's a reason the Lord puts us in this state. There's a reason the Lord, you know, has his men, all right, looking a certain way. It's not for everybody to get one. And the men of the Lord, when we're saying, we're preaching these words, his words, it's not from a place of just, you know, being a parrot. It's from a place of, majority of the time, experience, seeing it, living it, you see. So the men of the Lord, even in ancient time, they were perceived as what? Unlearned men. The scriptures say this. But these lowly men that the world looks at, right, walking by, seeing the videos, calling us, you know, names, all that, we have the most potent education a man could have. Not just because we're living these things, not because we're getting on the job training, but also because we can see the future. And also because the Spirit handpicked the majority of the men that you learn from. All right, John 15:16. It says, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit. So the Lord created particular spirits to bring people into the fold, to bring people closer to him. Whether they want to or not, they're going to fulfill that. Okay. Now, continues on to say, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. And going into the name again, how important it is. So as you're reading this Bible, and when you're thinking about, okay, who are the men of the Lord going to be in this time, you got to remember, or you got to read into how the prophets of old were perceived by the people. Okay, because they're going to come back in the same light, and they're going to be perceived the same way because it's the same spirits coming back, right? So how are the prophets of old perceived? Well, one, the name was pivotal in their teachings. The name of Yahweh Shai, exclamation point, was put on that. It was emphasized to the congregation. Let's go to Acts 4:10. Okay, it reads, be it known unto you all, and to all the people of Israel, that by the name of Yahushua Mashiach of Nazareth, they were even jailed for preaching in that name, right? Keep this in mind. So anybody making light of the name, whom ye crucified, whom Yahweh raised from the dead, he was the firstborn of death, even by him doth this man stand here before you whole. All right. So this walk also, I gotta say this. The closer you get to Yahweh Shai, the closer you get to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the more in tune you are with the Spirit, the more you understand how life and death works and what we seek. Okay. The less fear that you have for death, because you know that it's not final. Okay. There's a reason that the scriptures say, he that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life shall find it. I'm paraphrasing. We're going to rejoice, man, when we receive those new bodies, when we overcome, We're going to laugh in the face of death. And that's what this devil is going to try to threaten us with during the hour of temptation, when he moves forward with his agenda. But our big brother overcame it. Lord willing, I'm a part of that number. The elect are going to overcome it. And you got to have that mindset. You got to keep that in mind, the forefront of your mind, because the threat of death is going to become bigger and bigger as we go along here. All right, Acts 4:11, it says, this is a stone which was said of not of you builders. He's the chief cornerstone. He's the rock, right? Which is become of the head corner. Neither is there salvation in any other. For there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. So if we need this name to be saved, you should be considering what it is. A name, man, it carries a lot of weight when it comes to salvation. All right, in the day of evil, which we seek deliverance from. Your mindset, the main question, the main thing that you should be seeking in the forefront of your mind in this walk is to be saved. Verse 13, getting to the point here. It says, now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men. So now you're seeing how the men of the Lord were perceived. They were perceived as unlearned and ignorant men. And when people first come walk by us, when they first, you should see the looks on these Edomites, especially here in Texas and Dallas. I've been around a lot of Edomites, man, but there's a different kind of pride these oil money Edomites have. They walk by, that stupid look. You heard Elder Ariala always call them out. That stupid look on your faces. You'll hear him call them out from time to time. But they'll walk by, and then they look at the signs, and then they look at us, and they might even stop and listen for a while. And then they that perception of us being unlearned and ignorant men just fades away, because they hear us going into the prophecies. They hear us linking up. Just listen to 5 minutes, especially of the elder brothers. You soon come to realize that this isn't some kind of spectacle. That it's something that's serious, and that's why people they get, Edomites, they'll get that pressure feeling on them, and they'll flee, man. They beat it across the street, and others are drawn to it because this is actually the truth. Okay, and the truth is truth, regardless of who it comes from, and that's what people, a lot of people, they just can't. They don't process that. Somebody could be a complete demon. If they say something that's true, you say, you can see, okay, that person's a demon. But what they said, that did make some sense. That's why you can see us take certain clips or videos from a guy who's not a man of the Lord, and we can extract the truth from something he may have said or did. We can say, okay, well, that lines up with the scriptures, and you line it, you filter it through the word. But people don't know. They don't know what the truth is. The truth is found in the scriptures. It's found in the Lord's word. So for us, we can see what's true and what's not. We can see in the midst of the dark, because we're in a land of gross darkness. All right. So we can see, okay, how does that line up with the scriptures? Oh, that's off. That's a lie. Oh, that's a biblical practice. That's something that's a part of, how we're supposed to move. That's the truth. So you gotta be reading. You gotta be in tune with what the Lord said. And most people are not. They're not moved to even inquire what the Lord says is right and wrong, because they don't have the fear for Him. They don't, and that's the door. That's the beginning of knowledge, having that fear for the Lord, because that fear for the Lord puts the gas in your tank to move a certain way. All right. But Acts 4:13 once more says, now when they saw the boldness, and the men of the Lord are going to be bold, they're going to be fully sure, fully persuaded in their own mind of the things that they're teaching. Okay. The boldness of Peter and John, and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men, they marveled, and they took knowledge of them that they had been with Yahweh Shai. All right. And you have spirits that are here today that walk with Yahweh Shai. You have spirits that are here today that may not have walked with them, but in the spirit, they're under his vibration. So they move like they saw him, you know? All right, continuing on verse 14, it says, and beholding the man which was sealed, standing with them, and beholding the man which was healed. They were healing people. So not only were they perceived as unlearned men, and then people would come by and realize, oh, they're not, which was a jarring thing to see. And the boldness that they taught in shows they were fully sure what they're saying. The things they're saying is lining up and it's true, right? And then they heal people. It's like, oh my gosh, this must be the truth. All right? This must be the truth. This is what people go through when they would see them in the Lord. The same thing they go through when they see us, and they're going to go through it on a higher level as things go forward here, as the Lord starts to push prophecy forward. We're going to see some miracles too, man. But people, they always perceive the men of the Lord in a certain light. And you got to ask yourself, okay, well, if they were perceived that way back then, wouldn't they be perceived the same way in this time? Right? We know, you go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. They said this was he, meaning they were shocked that these were the Lord's men, meaning they were perceived in a negative light. All right? Verse 14 again. It says, and beholding the man which was healed standing with them, they could say nothing against it, because it's true. You could do nothing against the truth. All right? Verse 15. But when they had commanded them to go aside out of the council, they conferred among themselves, saying, what shall we do to these men? And that's the dilemma this devil is getting ready to go through, because he's going to have to lie and conjure up some bullshit to say we did to justify rolling on us, but people are going to know. All right? They're going to know that he's a liar by then. Saying, what shall we do to these men? For that indeed a notable miracle hath been done by them, is manifest to all them that dwell in Jerusalem, and we cannot deny it. Right? Verse 17, but that it spread no further among the people, let us straightly threaten them that they speak henceforth to no man in this name, because that there's power that comes with it. They were healing people in that name. So you got people saying, oh, we don't got the name, but the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is safe. The disciples were healing people in that name. That's where the power is. So you're disarming your flock, man. That name is important. Now, when things like that start happening in this time, this devil's going to do the same thing. He's going to say, we got to shut this down. It might be something that happens to where it's very public and everybody sees it, and they're going to try to shut stuff down. They're going to be shutting things down. Phones going to just freeze up. Shut that shit down. It's going to be a problem for the mentioning of the name of Yahweh Shai in the days to come, man. As things start to manifest, and it's clearly seen who the Lord is dealing with, and it's clearly seen that you know, out in the open, not just by the elites, but by the ordinary people, that the main threat to his plan, to his agenda, are the men of the Lord. That name is going to be made a problem, the same way it was back then. So again, most people, Lord willing, it's not you if you're watching this video, when they receive information, even if it's true, they'll negate it or disregard it based off of the source from which it comes. But what people are going to find out here soon, that the only reliable source to receive truth from in the days to come are going to be from the Lord's men. All right, so with that being said, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakar Kadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.